Okay, it is week 8 and I am back. I'm here with our week 7 recap. Was just looking at the schedule and realized that we are already more than halfway through the regular season of fantasy, so just enjoy the moment. We've only got 6 regular season games left before playoff time, so just lock in, do what you got to do. All of us still have a chance to get in. Myself especially, I'm fucking back. The way this season was going, starting out 1-5, dropping 5 straight games while still having respectable performances. I just thought it wasn't my year. I just thought anything that could go wrong would go wrong. And if you would have told me that this week Deshaun Watson would have came in the game and threw an interception and then gone straight to the bench, that Bijan Robinson just wouldn't play after not having an injury designation or anything all week and just didn't play, and Calvin Ridley was going to catch 1 pass for 5 yards, I would have told you I would have lost by 70. But that's not what happened. My luck is finally turning. I think as soon as I kicked the flu, I also kicked whatever curse I had for this fantasy season, and I am fucking back. Got carried by my kicker, defense, flex, and tight end this week, and that's called having a deep, complete team. And if I were the rest of you, I'd be fucking afraid because my team is back, and mathematically, I'm still very much okay in this league. So I pick up my second win, 103-79. Chase, I don't even know what the hell happened to your team. I guess you had Breece Hall on bye. That's really the only significant bye you had aside from the Cowboys defense. You just had a horrible week. You dropped to 3-4 with the majority of the rest of the league. We've got a lot of guys at 3-4. This is actually the first week, I think, in the history of fantasy that I was rooting for Kerry to win. Kerry actually found a way to fuck me in back-to-back weeks. Not only did he beat me by a fraction of a point last week with Wallergate and all that bullshit, that was hilarious that we actually convinced him that I was going to change the score. But he beat me that week by less than a point, and this week, if he had beaten Beans, I would have been 1 game out of a playoff spot. Can you believe it? 1-5, and I was that close to being 1 game out of playoff contention. But he loses to Bennett, so we can go to that game. Bennett locks himself into a current playoff position at 4-3, but had Kerry won this game, we would have had 8 different 3-4 teams, and I would have been right fucking there. Still alive though, but still got a lot more work to do being 2 games out. All right, enough of me. Let's get into Bennett and Kerry. Bean's team, I mean, you're still looking pretty good, man. I know you've lost a couple games here. You're at 4-3 though. 124 points is really good. Kerry, just right back where you belong at the bottom of the league. I think you're officially in last place now because you have tied with the worst record and by far the lowest amount of points. So you just sit comfortably there in last place in the league. And Bennett, you're still totally fine, man. You're in a playoff spot. You're at 4-3. Fields, you might as well just change your name. It is pretty funny at this point, but he's not even playing anymore. So might want to just get a new team name there. I think I've said that to you almost every single week this year about changing your team name. But Geno Smith stepping in, 13 points, not very good, but you still, like I said, you're doing all right, 4-3. Let's move on to Steve and Lipsky. 123-119. This is another pretty solid matchup. You and this game and the Kerry and Bennett game almost had identical scores. A couple pretty good teams here. Lipsky, you're also in a playoff spot right now at 4-3. Steve, you're right there at 3-4 with a lot of other guys. Nothing really too much to say here about this one. I mean, just a very, very close matchup. Lipsky and Steve, maybe do something more exciting. I'll have some more things to say next year. Biggest matchup we had of the week was Jamal against Gabe. Both guys coming into this one at 5-1, both looking like playoff locks. I don't even want to say it because I am playing Jamal this week and I need a fucking miracle to keep my season alive. But both of these teams just looking like juggernauts. I must have lit a fire under Gabe's team somehow after week 1 when I fucking obliterated him. He started out 0-1. Since I went on record saying that he wouldn't win another game and might be the first team in our league history to not win a game and was certainly not going to make the playoffs, he's ripped off 6 straight wins and he's scoring a metric fuck ton of points. I don't know what changed from week 1 to the rest of this season. Maybe it was me trying to promote collusion by saying nobody trade with Gabe. I think that some sort of juju might have just came from that, and Gabe is now looking like a certain playoff lock. He is our reigning champ, and I fucking would hate to see it, but he might become a 3-time champion with how his team is looking right now. So I don't even know who plays Gabe next week, but for the love of God, somebody beat this man. Jamal, you do pick up another loss here. But that does not mean that you have to go make a blockbuster trade and maybe give away Tyreek Hill or somebody else, which is what you did last time. You scored 140 points and lost, and you made a gigantic trade because your loss hurt you that bad. Jamal, pump the brakes. You're going to be okay. 131 points is completely fine. You do not have to go make a 5-person trade because you're panicking because you lost a game, okay? So you're going to be fine, except when you actually lose to me this week and you go to 5-3, then you might want to look at maybe dropping Tyreek. I'm pretty sure he popped up on an injury report, so that would suck, except not really because fuck you. And now we'll move into our last matchup. Wow, we had a bunch of games with very similar scores. Kobe and Cole, 124 to 115. So we had a 124 to 116, a 123 to 119, and a 124 to 115 game. Wow, very similar scores. A lot of guys at 3 and 4. This is just a parity driven league. I don't know if that's correct phrasing there, but it's a lot of evenness. Nobody really too much better than anybody else, and I would like to take credit for that as our commissioner. I planned it that way with how I set up the league. I don't know. I'm just gonna shut the fuck up. Kobe goes 3 and 4. Bennett goes 3 and 4. You guys are both kind of just right there in the playoff race. You're not in a playoff spot right now. It's another pretty boring game. I don't know what to say about these games that are just like 124 to 115. There's just not much interesting to say about them. So we'll just get into the standings as we kind of near playoff time. We've got Gabe and Jamal both pretty comfortably in first place of their respective divisions. Gabe at 6-1, definitely looking like he's got a 96% playoff chance. Jamal has an 88% playoff chance. The bottom 2 playoff guys are Bennett and Lipsky right now at 4 and 3, but those spots are really wide open. I mean, Carrie, I want to say you're not dead because you and I have the same record, and I really hope 2 and 5 isn't dead, but just like your 2 and 5 is a lot sadder than mine when you look at the points and everything like that. But even at 2 and 5, we're not dead at all. We're 2 games back right now from a playoff spot. Playoff spot is 4 and 3. We're at 2 and 5, so everybody's alive right now, fellas. Just lock in. Let's have some fun, and let's fucking go Ravens.